This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Well, good morning. Just a few hours ago, I was at the Grand Ole Opry hosting Opry Country Classics. And in just a few hours, that man, Charlie Mattos, is going to be hosting Opry Country Classics at the Grand Ole Opry House.
Yes, I think we have to put $1 in the kitty every time we call it Classics and not Christmas. Because they gave me a hard time the other night when I accidentally said Country Classics. But it's going to be fun. So our regular cast members, Larry, Steve, and Rudy, the Gatlin brothers. Larry is your host. Riders in the Sky, Charlie McCoy, Mandy Barnett will all be there. The special guests tonight are great. Matthew West, Hillary Scott of Lady A fame, and the spotlight artist tonight is Scotty McCreery. So we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, we're going to rewind to the stage of the Grand Ole Opry with Reba McEntire here just a little bit with Consider Me Gone. Kelly Sutton is with her daughter Reese, who is on the dance team for Christ Presbyterian. I didn't know the Presbyterians could dance, but apparently got enough going on. They've got a team.
Yes.
And so they're dancing for their football team, which is undefeated. High school football we're talking about with Battleground Academy. Both those are from Nashville, but we play the state championships in Chattanooga at Finley Stadium there. And that's where she is this morning, supporting her daughter. And she and Paul, for those of you watching, depending on where you're watching around the country, wind chills in the low to middle 20s at kickoff.
So warmer there than here. Because aren't we about 17, you said, for a wind chill?
No, 21.
Oh, so about the same. Oh,
yeah.
You know, she's hardy. She'll be okay. She's an Indiana girl. She'll be all right. She'll be all right.
So Blake Shelton, does he still, with a new label deal, have his finger on the pulse of what people want from Blake Shelton? We'll find out in his words. That's coming up. Blake, Forbes 30 under 30 in country music. Who do you think made that list?
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
So, as a music lover, what'd you get for Christmas back in 2000? Have any idea what the connection would be? It was the soundtrack of Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Oh, a lot of people got that for Christmas, yes.
It was released at Christmas time. Went on to win a Grammy for Album of the Year in 2002. What else? Oh, 1978, I saw this little footnote, milestone. The Charlie Daniels Band went in the studio and recorded The Devil Went Down to Georgia. They did it at Woodland Sound Studios here in Nashville, based on Stephen Vincent Benet's Mountain Whippoorwill, as I recall.
Well, that was a game changer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what to catch up on here?
The rock stations played the version where Charlie says a not-so-nice word.
You S.O.B.
As opposed to son of a gun.
You never but an S.O.B. there, devil. All right, so some of country music's biggest and hottest names fill Spotify's Wrapped list for 2024. Zach Bryan landed at number 3 on the top 10, most listened to artist in the United States. Morgan Wallen, he comes in right behind him at number 4. Shaboozie's A Bar Song, Tipsy. You may have seen him do that halftime of the Detroit Lions game on Thanksgiving Day. It was the 3rd most streamed song in the nation. Also making the top 10 list were Post Malone and Morgan Wallen's I Had Some Help and Zach Bryan's I Remember Everything that featured Casey Musgraves. Taylor Swift was the overall most streamed artist. Sabrina Carpenter's Espresso, that was the most streamed song of the year 2024, 1.6 billion streams, and 2024 is not over yet. So there's still time. She may hit the 2 billion mark before the end of the year over the next few days. And you see Zach Bryan and Shaboozie's names mentioned again in the Forbes 30 under 30 list for 2025. The magazine's list showcases those who are considered to be change makers in a variety of industries. Would we qualify, Charlie, you and I?
Well, we qualify. We don't make the rankings. But, I mean, we're eligible technically, I guess, right?
we either, as change makers, didn't measure up, or the variety of industries, because this is all we know how to do.
Right.
We have one industry.
Forbes would be happy to, make me a subscriber. I'd be happy to take the magazine, but that's about all I'm going to get.
Shaboozie just made the list. He pulled a Carly Pierce. He got in at 29.
29.
29 and change. But I'm on the 30 under 30 list, Forbes. Let's talk to Blake Shelton about that new single, Texas. He changed labels recently. And he says, I sometimes wonder, well, you'll hear him talk about it. What do people want to hear from Blake Shelton out there now? And, the industry's changed so much in the time that he's been on the scene. But the new label, Home, he was hoping they would love the song.
I went in and I had a meeting with BMG Records, and I just played them some stuff that I was working on, and I think I played them 3 songs or 4, and Texas was one of them. I didn't identify it as like this is the one because I feel like I'm so far removed now from even knowing what's good anymore that I just was kind of wanted to see what they even thought.
Hey, you know what, Blake? As I understand it, the label said, yeah, it's still good, still good.
As soon as they heard Texas, I mean, it was unanimous. They came out of their seats and said, this is our first single. We already found our first single, and which was so exciting for me to know that, all right, I still got my finger on the pulse of at least what somebody would expect for me anyway.
Blake Shelton, Texas, is climbing the charts already in the top 20. Blake's 6-date Las Vegas residency kicks off February 5th at his Friends and Heroes tour. About 2 weeks later, February the 27th, 3 weeks later, I guess, promises an amazing night when you will have Blake, Craig Morgan, Trace Adkins, Dina Carter, and Emily Ann Roberts. And as you pointed out earlier, those are not like rotating artists opening shows. That's the full night every night.
Yeah, he loves Emily Ann ever since The Voice. So I love the fact that he continues to support her career. And Trace is a veteran of the Friends and Heroes tour. He's done a couple of tours of duty, if you will, with Blake Shelton on the road.
I remember being in Orlando for the opening of the Old Red location there, and Emily Ann was up at rehearsal. He walks in the room, that big oaky swagger, and he goes, why? Because, on The Voice, she was on Team Blake.
Correct.
Why? Is Emily Ann Roberts not a superstar? Why? Well, she's on her way. She's working in the right direction for sure. John Party, he helped us kick off Opry Country Christmas on Sunday night. He was the first Spotlight Artist of 2024, OCX. He's hitting the road next spring. He just announced this on the heels of his Opry visit. John's Honky Tonk Hollywood Tour that kicks off in April in Lubbock. He'll make 21 stops across North America, including Tucson, Toledo, Pittsburgh. The tour wraps up in August 3rd, Davenport, Iowa. He's coming to see you with Corey Kent and Cassie Ashton on the tour. He's still busy this year, though. December, the remainder of the month, he's got gigs in California and Oklahoma. John Party, Grand Ole Opry member. The band Perry, they're reuniting after a long musical break. I didn't know this would ever happen, but here's why. It's Hurricane Helene relief. The sibling trio announced this week they're planning to play a homecoming show, is kind of what they're calling it. They said when home needs help, that's when family comes together. And their concert will be held January 25th, if you want to mark that date, Greenville, Tennessee. One night only. The band Perry.
We were recently in Charlotte for Thanksgiving. We were driving back. Needed to pull off the road for some snacks and gas and a bathroom trip. And we pull off, and there's tons of options in this town. And we pull up to the Mapco, that's a Subway in there. So, we'll get Subway for lunch. And they were remodeling. And it's like, there's a Dunkin' Donuts over there. And they were remodeling. And then there's a Burger King, and they were closed. And it finally dawned on me that this was one of the communities hit so hard by the floods that every business in that exit off the interstate was shut down except one gas station that had managed to survive. So it's crazy.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
So a couple of years ago, I hear this song, Heartbreak Train, and I go, who is that girl? I got to know more. Well, a couple of years have passed, and Caroline Owens is my in-studio guest this morning on Coffee, Country, and Cody from the historic Acuff House on the Grand Ole Opry Plaza. Welcome in. It's a pleasure to meet you.
And Bill, why don't we start with that song right now? That sounds like a good idea. Don't you think? We'd like to hear Heartbreak Train on the radio while we take care of some maintenance this morning.
Make some technical adjustments. All right.
I think Annie's saved the day.
Okay, thank you. Annie Nye, our studio director, Jeff Robertson, master control. So, again, welcome to Coffee, Country, and Cody, Caroline.
Thank you.
It's great to see you. Billy Blue Records is your home. Jerry Sally's outfit, right?
Yes, I'm very blessed. I signed a publishing deal back in April, and then I signed a record deal just a few months ago with them and kind of sealed the deal a little bit.
Well, you are here representing an event that's coming, a benefit for Room in the End, the Nashville homeless community. And joining you this morning, sitting with you, is Mark Campbell, the Community Development Coordinator.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Talk about Room in the End, because so many people we know at the Grand Ole Opry in our family, like Don Schlitz and Randy Hart and Charlie Worsham.
Charlie
folks
Worsham,
like,
yeah.
You know,
Musician of the Year.
Have been,
Yeah.
CMA Musician of the Year. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I called him to congratulate him the next day, and he kind of whispered when he answered, "Hello, Bill Cody." I said, "Hey," he said, "you know what I'm doing? I'm holding my 1-month-old daughter right now who's asleep." But I didn't want to miss your call. So
Yeah.
tell us about Room in the Inn, which has been it seems to me, on the Nashville landscape for a long, long time.
Yeah, so I mean, we are in our 39th season of doing what Charlie Strobel, who was a priest in East Nashville 39 years ago, welcomed people into his church there and have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, a place to sleep, and we continue to partner with hundreds of congregations all across the city of Nashville to provide shelter each winter. Where they provide what they have, which is a place to sleep, something to eat, and then wonderful conversation. And really, we've just continued to partner with people all around Middle Tennessee to help us in our day center that's downtown, that helps people get out of the cold during the day, get showers, laundry, mail service, classes, and then help them with long-term solutions like helping with income and housing. And so
how many people at any given time are at Room in the Inn?
So we see about 4,000 unique individuals each year. So some people are just coming through Nashville, and then some people that live here. The majority of people who are experiencing homelessness in Nashville are Nashvillians, though.
So what does Don Schlitz, Charlie Worsham, Randy Hart, what do they do?
Yeah.
When they come perform
Absolutely.
there at Room in the Inn?
We serve lunch Monday through Friday, but we have a cafe on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And that cafe experience is in the mornings from 8 o'clock until 10 o'clock. We serve coffee, pastries, and we have a small little Grand Ole Opry stage we've set up. It even has like the little barn behind it for them. And they come and they just play for a few hours. And Randy Hart will come. We had Charlie McCoy. We've had lots of different artists. And then just the Nashville landscape. Belmont students will come and sing. We'll have all kinds of different people that come on those Monday, Wednesday, Fridays and just share their talents with the unhoused community.
Well, Caroline, share what's happening and some of the folks that play music alongside you and your group. New Company, is that the name of your band?
Yeah, we're a bluegrass.
And it's this Friday night that you're doing this.
Yes, we are. So I'm here in Nashville. I live here now, but I'm not from here. I'm from North Carolina.
Denton, North Carolina.
And I'm scared. He knows a lot about me.
Yeah.
But no, I do live in Denton, North Carolina, or I used to. I go back home about 3 days a month now. But so my band that's going to be with me on Friday night is the Borrowed Mules. They're already going to be on the lineup, and so they've agreed to kind of help pick behind me since my band isn't here. And so it's going to be a fun time, a little bit different than normal.
I'm sure I can't be the first person to say this, but there is such a Dolly-esque quality to your speaking voice.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
well, thank you. I appreciate that. I usually get Merle Haggard, but thank you.
Well, Valerie Smith and Liberty Pike, Mike Mitchell, Shelton Williams, Della Mae, the Borrowed Mules, which you said will also be backing you, David Greer, Johnny and Jeanette Williams, and some other special guests will be there. Doors at 7. Showtime is 8 o'clock. And it's the 21st year of this Bluegrass benefit for Nashville's homeless and the Room in the Inn, at the Station Inn. And again, it's this Friday. Caroline Owens is our special guest.
You know, Bill had mentioned that your album is on Billy Blue Records. You know, there's one thing in the music industry that you need to have trust in the people you're working with.
Yeah.
And man, there's nobody better in this town than Jerry Salley. He's a gem, is he not?
Well, I would agree with you on that one
Yeah.
for sure. And he's one of the most fantastic writers that I've had the privilege of working with. And so when I'm concerned about something like a write maybe that I think that I might have not done the best that I could do on, I'll take it to Jerry. And if he says, oh, that's good, then I feel better.
Yeah.
And if he says that's bad, I feel really bad.
So it's kind of like a master class.
It really is. And he's wonderful. He is so meticulous about a lyric, and I mean that in a good way. You know, things that we might let slide, you know, he catches up on. It's pretty amazing.
Tell me about your friendship and working relationship with Darren and Brooke Aldridge, who frequent the
Yeah.
Grand Ole Opry very often.
So Darren Aldridge was my producer on my first ever album that we did, which was actually just last year. I'm only 7 years old. But we did it, and he agreed to produce it, and that was a big thrill to me because I had loved them forever.
Yeah.
You know, back when I was just getting into bluegrass, there were some folks that were not afraid to take me under their wing and just saw me as someone that they needed to help. And so it was a big thrill when he said, yeah, I'd love to produce it. And so this next album we have coming out is going to be on Billy Blue Records, and he's a co-producer along with Jerry Salley. So we have 2 this time.
Well, let's go back to that first time that you made the number 1 spot, I believe, on the bluegrass charts, didn't you? Right out of the box with Heartbreak Train?
It was the number 1 song of 2023 on the Bluegrass Borderline charts.
You big show off.
Well,
From WSM Radio, this is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
tntrailsandbyways.com. When you open that on the home page and you scroll down just a little bit each day and multiple times throughout the day, a different little rotator with a surprise on, 16 trails, 1,351 stops will pop up. And so today, I was introduced to something I didn't know about until now, the peaceful side of the Smokies over around Townsend, Tennessee. Luxury camping in Townsend. When it comes to camping, Charlie, I know luxury camping is what you prefer.
Right.
Yes.
My idea of roughing it is like Holiday Inn Express. But I'm glad. But there are many people who are campers. So for them, I wish them luck.
May I introduce you to Little Arrow Outdoor Resort.
Okay.
It's where wanderlust meets leisure.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
sounds like somebody's up to something, doesn't it? That wanderlust.
I think so, yeah.
RV and tent, tiny homes, cabins, glamping, again. I mean, I'm speaking to you, mister.
This is me in a nutshell. Yes.
And to you, wherever you are, to get off the beaten path and to stand out on the scenic route, Townsend, Tennessee's Little Arrow Outdoor Resort, one of those great little surprises I found.
I tell you what, I drop you and Rebecca there, and I just go hang out at Dollywood. I'll come back pick you up. It's all in the same part of the state, right? So
You'll be at the Dream More Resort.
that's right, exactly.
We'll be in our log cabin.
Roughing it at Heart Song, yes. So, but hey, seriously, that's the beauty of the website, right? Whether you're a Nashvilleian looking for an easy day trip, maybe a weekend getaway, or you're watching on Circle Country and you're coming to hang with us for a couple of weeks, tntrailsandbyways.com. You cannot go wrong. You'll find hundreds of great ideas.
Off the beaten path. I mean it. Get off the beaten path and stand out on the scenic route. Caroline Owens is our in-studio guest this morning. Our first time to have her. And, excited that she's playing the station in for Room in the Inn.
That's right.
The benefit show is Friday. That is tomorrow night. Friday slipped up on us already. 7 o'clock doors, 8 o'clock showtime. She's joined this morning before she performs live for us by Mark Campbell, the community development coordinator there. And $20 minimum request for admission for tomorrow night's show. But are people allowed to bring things as well?
They can bring hygiene items, things that they believe that we could be able to help our community. We have showers every single morning, so we need lots of those little things. So if you've gone to hotels, the Express, or wherever you end up, or camping, you can get those things and bring them with you, and we will use them in our community.
How do people donate? How do they volunteer? What do you suggest?
Yeah, you can simply just email us at volunteer@roomintheinn.org or go to our website, roomintheinn.org. And it's pretty easy. When you send that email out, it's going to go to a whole team, and we can really have all ages come as long as it's a family group, and lots of different activities they can get involved in.
What was the priest's name who was the founder?
Charlie Strobel, and he passed away just last August. Staple of the community. You probably heard of also Catherine Strobel, who was his mother, who passed years ago, but the volunteer award for the whole city is named after her. So yeah, the Strobel family has been a part of this community for a long time, loving on their neighbors.
Here we are at Christmas, and we know the story of the baby Jesus' birth. Room in the Inn. Where did he come up with that name?
I mean, our name comes from that story. What we try to do every night that we are opening is that we try to reverse that story's ending by providing room in the inn.
Right.
And so we try to do that every night. It's not always successful, but we try to do the best we can.
Well, Caroline, I want you to play and sing here in just a second, but give us a little more bio background on you growing up in North Carolina. You're still in your early 20s, right?
Well, some people say I look 12 if I don't have makeup on, but I grew up, like I say, in North Carolina. I'm a North Carolina girl, and I didn't really grow up in music at all. I knew about, festivals and things like that, but I started singing when I was really little, but I didn't grow up around music. I started singing when I was 2. I always joke that was only about 8 years ago because people think that's funny, but I grew up singing, and my grandpa was a Baptist preacher. And so I grew up in church singing and didn't really get the bluegrass bug until my teenage years, but I always knew about folks like Dolly and Allison and people like that, and those were big inspirations to me as someone who was just a little girl with a dream. So.
How close are you to Darren and Brooke Aldridge in Denton, and they're in the Cherryville community? Is that close?
Not really. I believe
Okay.
we're at least probably an hour and a half to 2 hours
Okay.
from, so I could walk, but it would take me a long time.
So you have been doing this Facebook 12 Days of Christmas, where you
Yes.
do a different Christmas song for
Yes.
12 days over the
Yeah.
Christmas season. But you took time out to show us pictures backstage at the Grand Ole Opry.
Yes.
How did you get backstage? Who invited you? Because I see you with Ashley McBride and Marty Stewart and Connie
Yeah.
Smith and having the time of your life. It's written on your face.
Well, it was pretty incredible. It'd been a while since I'd gotten to go backstage, and my mom is a big Ashley McBride fan, and our friend Jay Jackson, and he had asked about us wanting to come, and I said, well, I'd love to come, but can we go on a night that my mom gets to meet her hero? And so we got to see Ashley McBride, and I got to see some of my heroes, and of course Ashley's a hero of mine as well, but Connie Smith was there, and Marty Stewart was there, and I was like, gosh. But I just really loved them. And they were just a pleasure to meet. You see people and you know they're probably nice, but then you meet them and you know they're nice.
Oh, there's just a
Yeah.
special spirit about Ashley McBride.
There
I
is.
don't know if it's soothing or comforting, or there's just
Yeah.
there's a warmth that exudes from her.
There is, and I'll tell you what she did. I was just kind of roaming around, backstage and just taking it all in. And I heard her singing, and you cannot deny that wonderful voice. And so I peeked my head into the dressing room, and she goes, come on in. And I'm going, and it was just amazing. And she said, I'm going to play you a song. And she just went right into it. And it was just, people don't do things like that anymore.
Well, you got your own private concert there
It was
backstage
amazing.
at the
Yeah.
Opry. Marty Stewart doesn't soothe you?
In a different way.
Kind of like clamping.
Cousin Kenny, handsome Harry, What is Chris Scruggs?
Professor.
The professor. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, Professor Scruggs. Well, if you would, play and sing for us like you
Absolutely.
will tomorrow night for the Room in the Inn
Yes.
benefit at the station Inn. 7 o'clock doors, 8 o'clock showtime.
Yes.
And Caroline Owens, our special guest, is among a host of folks who are performing tomorrow.
And I'll warn you, I don't normally sing this early, so I'm not responsible for anything that may happen.
Girl, you got this.
Okay. So I'm going to do you a Hard Candy Christmas as a part of the 12 Days of Christmas. Hey, maybe I'll dye my hair. Maybe I'll move somewhere. Maybe I'll clear my junk. Maybe I'll just get drunk on apple wine. Me, I'll be just fine and dandy. Lord, it's like a hard candy Christmas. I'm barely getting through tomorrow, but still I won't let sorrow bring me way down. I'll be fine and dandy. Lord, it's like a hard candy Christmas. I'm barely getting through tomorrow, but still I won't let sorrow bring me way down.
They're so sweet.
Thank
you
you.
for that, Caroline. Caroline Owens. She is a part of a lineup that includes Valerie Smith and Liberty Pike. I think Valerie coordinated this visit this morning with you, didn't she, Charlie?
Correct, sure did.
All right. Mike Mitchell, Shelton and Williams, Della May. We love them. The Borrowed Mules, who will back you.
Yes.
And then David Greer, Johnny and Jeanette Williams, and there will be some other unannounced special guests. But you'll find out when you get there. Again, doors at 7 o'clock. Showtime is 8 o'clock. And a $20 minimum donation, Room in the Inn. And their representative, Mark Campbell, the Community Development Coordinator, is with us this morning. Mark, anything you want to add you haven't talked about? Where is it located? People may want to know that.
Where Room in the Inn is located, we're located downtown. If you know where the roundabout is with all the poles sticking out of the ground, we're just one street south of that. We also have 48 apartments that we have in that building as well. So many have driven by for years and not noticed that we were there.
How about that?
Yeah.
Anything special for Christmas at Room in the Inn?
Oh, there's all kinds. We always say it's the chaos of blessings because it's just all kinds of people coming and giving their talents. And we got several concerts we've all been a part of at the Bluebird, and then there's our 25th annual Unlimited Christmas that's going to be at Christchurch Cathedral on Monday and Tuesday. So, yeah, there is all kinds of people that are doing exactly what Charlie did. They're using the gifts that they have to be able to bless the community. And so we can't be more thankful for all the people who do that.
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Well, he's headlining the Ryman Auditorium tonight, but he was kind enough to get up early. And when I tell you the green room, he brought the whole fam damnly. He did. There must be 15 people in there that are somehow related to our special guest, Brent Cobb.
Every time I come here, we talk about how my family knows all music. I just wanted to prove it to y'all. It's a good thing it was this occasion because the new studio, you got all the room. If it had been the old one, we'd be crammed in there right now.
That's right. We got plenty of room for him to run around back there.
Yeah.
And it's good to see you always.
Yes, sir. You too, both
And
y'all.
I wish I saw you more. You're playing the Ryman headlining for the first time?
For first headline, I've been fortunate enough to have played there. You know, with Little Big Town and Anderson East and Tedeschi Trucks, Blackberry Smoke. I played there a bunch, but it's the first headline, and I'm glad that I've played there though, because I don't know if I'd be too nervous to do it if it wasn't.
Yeah. What's the difference when you say, "Okay, I'm headlining," versus those moments?
The difference is we've sold about 2,000 tickets, and they're all there for me. And that feels pretty good. I don't know. It's a real big deal. When I was pulling back in, to town a couple of days ago, we live back in Georgia now. I'm here every week or so. I was thinking, I can remember the exact way I felt in March of 2008, like everybody, I imagine, the way I felt when I was pulling on Demombrian that very first time. And the old deja vu was up there, back then. It's changed a little bit now. But I can remember thinking about the Ryman. One of the first things I ever did was I went to Jack White was doing the Loretta Lynn tribute thing at the Ryman, like the first couple weeks I was in town. And I went to that, and just that's the pinnacle, that's what you hope to do is do the Ryman. So I remember sitting in the seats up there in the balcony and just going, man, if I could ever headline the Ryman, then that's what I care to do.
Well, and the cool part is you've been in the crowd, so
yes.
You know what it sounds like out there. So you know what you're giving them. It's just so cool,
dude. It's the thing. I mean, it's for me. I mean, when I was 16, first time I ever came up here, me and my daddy, who's sitting over here, he's going to sing one with me in a minute maybe, but we walked in the alley, like everybody talks about, between the Ryman and Tootsie's, and just kind of rubbed the old wall of the Ryman, and it was like, man, Hank Williams could have stumbled out of this same spot one night, and
42 steps.
Yeah, I know that's right.
From Tootsie's to the
That's
right.
the right. That's what they say, right?
Yeah.
And
I'm going to test it.
It's a good size room. I mean, it's 2,356 seats. That is not a small venue.
That's right.
But they feel like they're right on top of you, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like all my family in that room back there.
Right. Yeah.
So, when you played it the first time as an opener, who did you play with at first?
The very first one, the very first one, I was a part of one of the Christmas special shows, and I did If We Make It Through December, and it was just there was a bunch of different variety of artists, but then I think the first opening that I did there was probably for Little Big Town. I think they were doing a residency there. It was amazing.
Well, you were born in Americus, Georgia. Mm-hmm. So they went to town for you to be born, I guess.
That's right. Yeah.
But where do you make home? Ellaville still?
I grew up in Ellaville, and I was raised in Richland. Yeah.
All right.
I thought you were about to pull that saying out. I was like, dang, man, Bill's good.
But you're back in Georgia. You lived here you were our neighbor just across Briley Parkway for the longest.
It used to be way easier to come here in the mornings. I used to live over by the Waffle House. But, we live back down there now, and it's right about an hour south of Macon. And
you said earlier, I'm up here all the time.
I'm up here all the time. We stay in the road, and I ride a bunch and try to produce stuff and here and there. So.
I heard a conversation. It was Buddy Miller. He was interviewing Sean Camp and Verlin Thompson.
That's a cool interview.
And they were talking about Guy Clark, with whom Verlin was on the road for 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "Oh, come with me." Verlin said, "I had a Capitol deal, and I was miserable. I had a major label deal. I was miserable. Mm-hmm. Everything about it it wasn't working."
Right.
And he had just met Guy for the first time. Mm-hmm. And Guy said, "You need to come with me. You don't need a record label. You don't need all them buses.
We'll get you out of there.
You don't need that merch table. You know what you need? is a satchel full of good songs.
I know that's right.
And I thought about you last night as I heard that, because that's what you've carved out, that niche.
It's the only way that's worked for me well. It's the only thing that's been kind of lucrative. The only thing that's ever kept the lights on and the babies fed is and it only took 20 years to do it, but it is to, for whatever reason, the harder I try to write for a big commercial, I want to get a big song, it never works.
Yeah.
But when I sit back and go, I don't care, I'm going to sit out here on the porch and write then people want to record them, and people want to buy my records, and the only way it's ever worked for me is to just do it all myself.
So who are the biggest cuts you've had that people would know?
Oh, man, Miranda just recorded one called January Heart that me and Neil Medley wrote together several years ago. That was on her most recent album. Kenny Chesney just put one on his newest album that me and Jerry and Johnston and Charlie Worsham wrote, called This Too Shall Pass, Me a Beer. and I've had several, but then I've had songs recorded by Cody Jinks and Steel Woods and Whiskey Myers, and I'm all on. Whoever wants them, I got them.
You're like Guy. You got a satchel full of songs.
I got a
and they're
satchel
good.
full of them, yes, sir.
Cody's coming to see us next week, and I don't think I've ever met him, and I'm
Jinx.
so looking forward. Yeah, because he's doing the rhyming as well, so I'm so looking forward to seeing him.
He's a good dude, man. He and I kind of got tight after my buddy Rowdy of the Steel Woods. When he passed in 2021, I can remember Rowd talking about, they'd toured a lot together with Cody, and he said that Cody Jinks is a righteous man. And when you have someone close to you pass like that, you just want to grasp at anything kind of left. And so I was going through people that I ought to hit up, and he was one of them. And so I hit Cody Jinks up. I told him that Rowdy said that. We've been pretty kindred ever since that. You'll love Cody, man. He's a good dude, righteous.
And you got an Oak Ridge Boys cut too.
That's
pretty cool.
I've had an Oak Ridge. That was my first cut. Was the Oak
Was it
Ridge
really?
Boys. Yes, sir.
What song was it?
It's called "Hold Me Closely." It's kind of a little bit gospel song. I wrote it, fell out of the sky. Wrote it wrote it in 30-minute songs, and didn't know where it came from. And I think my nana sent it down. My mama's mama just passed, and then the Oak Ridge Boys recorded the first song ever.
That's Brent Cobb. He's playing the Ryman Auditorium, headlining tonight with Joshua Ray Walker and Maggie Antone. And the latest album came out in 2023, been about a year.
That's right.
Your North Star is a Southern Star.
Yes, sir.
That's really the
More Coffee, Country, and Cody is on WSM.
Kind enough to stop by and visit with us. Our old neighbor before he moved back home to Georgia, Brent Cobb, is here, and he's playing the Ryman Auditorium tonight. Joshua Ray Walker and Maggie Antone are his special guests. And how do you determine who's going to open for you? How much input does the headliner have in that?
Well, as much as you want or as little as you like. But I love Joshua and Maggie very much. And there's a list of options maybe that my manager sent over and was like, what do you think about any of these people on the list? Mm-hmm. And I just love them both so much. And I've known Joshua for a few years. We're not extremely close, but I love what he does, and he's a good dude. And Aaron right there actually introduced me to Maggie, and has been trying to get us to write together for months. And she stays busy, I stay busy. We haven't been able to do it. I hadn't actually met her in person, but we've just communicated over the phone, and I love what she does too.
Yeah, man.
And, it just made sense.
We were talking earlier about the difference, because you've played the Ryman a few times. We talked in our first segment, but now everybody who's bought a ticket is coming because it's a Brent Cobb show at the Ryman.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean,
a good
Maggie
chunk.
and Josh,
a good
too.
chunk. But the other really cool difference is it's not 30 minutes, it's not 40 minutes. Right. It's literally as long as you want it to be.
It's a whole show, man. Yeah. And I have put together a band for this show that I took my road band, and I took the Macon Capricorn studio band that I used on Southern Star, and I put them together. So we're gonna have 2 drummers and a percussionist and a guitar-mageddon. We're gonna have 3 guitars up there.
Well, the Allman Brothers.
A little bit, yeah, pretty much. We're not gonna do any big Allman Brothers covers, maybe, but it'll be fun to watch. We've been rehearsing the last couple of days, and I'm I'm really excited to put on a whole show with that big band.
This fella seated next to you, we've talked about him on this show before as a song leader.
That's right.
At the church house.
Yes, sir.
But introduce him as your wingman this morning and duet partner.
This is my daddy, Patrick Cobb. I think the first time that I ever played on y'all's show, I did a song that he wrote in '92 called Country Bound. And it was on that Shine On Rainy Day album. I recorded it for that. And I grew up listening to him write songs, and he leading us singing at the church. And I figured you've heard enough about him, I might as well bring him on the show.
Well, I'm glad you did. And again, the green room's got about 15 people in it. In-laws and outlaws.
Everybody.
They're all in there.
Do we still find you singing on Sunday mornings?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What church would that be?
Antioch Baptist Church in Webster County, Georgia.
I'm a faithful follower.
My dad led the singing, his grandpa, till about 2007, and I messed around and said, Daddy, if you need some help, let me know, I'll fill in for you. He said, take it this Sunday. He never took it back.
Well, just like the guy who replaced Lou Gehrig. He just kept doing it for like 30 years, right? Yeah.
Well, what you going to play and sing first? I want to get a couple out of it if I can.
Well, I figured we should do Country Bound. So
Okay.
this is a song in '92. Daddy, you were coming up here and had met Doug Stone, right?
Yep.
And Doug
Shopping
invited
myself,
you.
yes.
Yep, invited you to come up here.
Yeah.
And
We were writing a few songs,
that's right.
and your mama's brother, Brian, and I wrote this song together.
Yep. I remember seeing it happen. I was just a little bitty nothing, you know?
Yes.
Thank you so much, Brent Cobb,
Thank
and
y'all
for bringing your daddy along.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
Good to have you, Patrick.
Just write your tithe checks to WSM Radio. We'll take care of the rest. All right.
Come on now.
I read J.W. Vaughn was the fellow's name who wrote that song,
Really?
and it was first recorded in 1947 by the King's Sacred Quartet.
How about
And
that?
Hank's version came like 1952.
Wow.
About 5
Right
years
before he
later.
died then, wasn't
Yeah,
Amazing,
yeah.
man.
it? Yeah.
How about
It
that?
could have been released posthumously. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
How about that?
Yeah.